Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed, alongside of me, Becky Alley.
Hey, what is going up, everyone? This show is dedicated to my main dog, Chachi.
All right. Poor Chachi. Oh, no. We're going to have to get into that later.
No, we're not.
No,
but
we're not.
That was it.
All right. Then we let it
We
go.
love
Oh, my
Chachi.
God. Welcome, everyone who's listening out there. It is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. All right. We got, obviously, some love we're going to have to give Becky a little bit later, but welcome on this wonderful Saturday, kicking off October 1st. And look who we bring in, Alexa Carmona and Haley Zook. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
You guys, of course, Arden Realty. Alexa, she started this brokerage just recently, and you're already off and running. Look out for the wolf.
Yeah, seriously, we're coming. We're howling for you. We're here to negotiate the deals for everybody. We're excited.
I love everything about what you represent, so let's just get that out there right now. So if you don't know Alexis, she is all the things that you need to be around and surrounded with. She's a good person. She's got the good vibes, and she has started her own brokerage, and she represents a lot of good things that are happening in this market. People want to focus on the doom and gloom, and what you need to be surrounded by is people that see the opportunities in this market, and that's what I feel like your brand represents. And I love that you're going out here, you're taking advantage of it. I mean, to get out here in a down market and people are like, oh my God, what are you doing, right? And so when you step into your power like that and you realize, I don't need your permission to be successful and to be successful for my clients. I love that.
First, you're gonna make me cry. Second, I really, really appreciate you saying that. Like, you go throughout life and you don't realize that's the impact you make on other people. And then you said that to me this morning, and it's just so, like, moving.
I think when I first met you, I was like, this is, and people used to say it to me, you're like an old soul or something like that. But you got that mixed in with today's technology,
Thank you.
The motivation and that drive that, you just can't teach people that passion. I first met
Thank
you
you.
about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I had you on the show right away. I'm like, this girl's going to be a huge success. And again, thanks for
Thank you.
all those great attributes you have, and it takes a lot. And Haley, you're going to join in with us in a little bit here, but so many great attributes that someone needs to have as a great real estate agent, and honesty and hard work and the passion, all those great things, Becky.
Yeah, I feel like in this market that we are facing, it's really going to come down to, it's not just someone that knows all of the things, which you need to know all the things. You need to know how to negotiate, you need to write contracts, you need to do all those things. And even on the lending side, you have to work with a lender that knows their stuff. However, people that are good with people are really going to matter, because this is, people have that hesitance. They are nervous right now, and you need to work with people that have been through these kinds of situations. There's no rookies in the room, and that's why at Capital Mortgage Funding, we surround ourselves with the highest caliber of agents, because we are a high caliber lender, and we are here to make sure that whatever we're writing on that piece of paper, it's worth it. Everyone knows that our loans are going to close, and with the rates changing, you got inflation, people are nervous about those things, but the reality is that it's serious buyer time and it's serious seller time, and there's going to be people that can capitalize on it, because you're going to see opportunities to refinance later.
I was just talking to Haley about that on the way here. It's about, instead of being number one or competing with your fellow realtors, it's more about competing to be number one with your client, having the best relationship with your client, and making sure that they're getting everything that they need in this market. So, because no matter what the market is, if you stay positive and you have good relationships and you educate your clients, business is always coming in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it doesn't matter. You're absolutely right. So I focus on world-class service.
Yes.
Because if you don't answer your phone, who cares? Bye, see ya. Because that buyer just has a couple questions. They don't know. Like, I even had a simple question of someone called me, said, hey, I want to buy a house, but I have to sell my house. How does that mortgage on my current house get paid off? Okay.
Really? That's a simple question.
Yeah, just that's all they wanted to know. They had no idea who was going to pay off that mortgage. And anyone that's wondering that same question, when you sell your house, the person buying it, you use those proceeds, and the title company wires that money directly to your mortgage company. That's your current mortgage company. You pay that off, and then we give you the new money for your new mortgage, because it's going to be with Capital Mortgage Funding.
We'll make that easy. All right, we're going to get into Q&A real quick. So why don't we dive in? Again, if you want to join the show, 248-539-9797. We're live in the studio here at 97.1. Again, if you are definitely headed to some football games today, give us a call. If you're thinking about buying a house, if your children are thinking about buying a house, your aunt, your uncle, second, third-time homeowners, call us in the show and we'll definitely get you set up for success. So much to talk about. Let's dive right into the inventory, which is really the way the market is trending right now.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the good homes, but I put down that, hey, is this a balanced market now, buyers and sellers, but is it dependent upon the inventory? Comment on that a little bit.
Okay, so my thought process is this, because I try not to be too emotionally attached to inventory. But I tell all of my buyers, let's shop with towards our budget. You know, what's more important? And if you want to shop towards your budget, and depending, like first-time home buyers, if we're spending $300 and under, shopping towards your budget, you want to go in the county that has the most inventory for you to choose from. I think currently, right now, Wayne County is, for $300K and under in Wayne County, there's over 3,000 houses you could buy.
Oh,
active.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the inventory is there. It's just spread out. So I always say, shop based on your budget. Talk to your realtor. Ask them, where can I go with this budget that has the most inventory for me?
Mm-hmm. And especially, I think that, you know, people are going back to work a little bit. However, I feel like some of them are still able to work remotely. So the fact that what you're saying is, you know, you still have those opportunities to not necessarily have to work 20 minutes away from your office,
Right.
because you're able to, you know, log in wherever you want to do, which is helpful. But sometimes right now, you might need a house that's got good bones. Sweat equity is making a comeback.
This is my favorite. These are my favorite types of houses, because right now, I mean, it's such a funny market. We are shifting for sure. But in one area, I'm writing a cash offer that's got beat out by a conventional loan that has a appraisal guarantee, because they're putting 20% down.
Oh,
They
there you
just
go.
came in a little higher. So they're willing to wait a little bit longer, the seller. So cash definitely has competition in this inventory still. But in the same token, in the same week, I wrote an offer for under 25K under list price with 3% concessions. We're in negotiations, but guess what I still have on the table is 3% concessions on an FHA.
That's unbelievable for a buyer in today's market, and we are
I'm
starting
just
to
saying.
see that. Yeah, and again, so it turns
New
me
listing.
to think. Okay, now we're starting to talk about sellers'
So that's
concessions. Becky.
that
This
was like
gets-
a lot of things. Like if
Yeah.
you think about it, like this market is not just one thing.
No,
I
it's
like that.
everything. So your skill, your knowledge, your experience, your dedication to communication with your clients and other agents, this is where you're going to shine. This is where you're going to come through.
Yeah, I'm all about it's like the pivot or perish kind of market.
yes.
You have to be able to alternate and adjust immediately. But again, you have to have the knowledge. You have to have the skill set to have a conversation, to reach across the aisle. But at the same time, our buyers and sellers, the buyers need to know you don't have to have 20% down.
No. Concessions
are okay. FHA is not the devil anymore. You can ask for things, because if you don't ask, the answer is always no anyway. So let's
Absolutely.
just ask.
That is my tactic. Everybody asks what the wolf is. That's it right there. If we try it, we take a big bite and we see what size food we get. You know,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
how it is. That's
right.
how I work.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, 248-539-9797. I always get into this negotiation part because it is buyers and sellers, and at the end of the day, you have to have the smart people working for you. So when the other agent on the other side responds, there's a response. And
Yeah.
again, I think experience is the key, building your knowledge. Multiple bids are still coming in on
Absolutely,
the
too.
really nice homes. So you have to separate yourself. And again, sometimes an FHA, you know, to us, Becky, FHA loans are the same as a conventional loan. Again, these close basically identically, less than 30 days on most transactions here. But again, you can negotiate now. We're starting to see these words, seller's concession. Alexis dropped it in. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I actually just did 5 pre-approvals, and all of them
Wow.
had concessions. And one of the agents had not been, I mean, they're newer in the business. I'm not going to, you know, it is what it is, right? So you need to learn somewhere. So I actually was telling them the best way to, you know, put them in a position to get their offer accepted with these concessions. And so, for example, a seller concession is when you're buying a house and you're asking the seller to pay some of your closing costs through their proceeds. So, for example, a $100,000 house, you ask the seller to pay $3,000, well, then they're going to get $97,000, and they're going to say, heck no, Becky, because I want $100,000. So a way that you can pivot around that to still make it a competitive for both sides is now you say, okay, well, I'm going to offer you $103,000, Mr. Seller, and I want you to give me back $3,000 towards my closing costs. So that way you can sell your house, I can buy my house. Now everyone's happy. The buyer can get $3,000 towards their closing costs. The seller still gets their $100,000, and all is well in the world. And there's rainbows and butterflies, and we have an accepted offer, which is what we are trying to do right now in this market.
And
Absolutely.
Alexis, I was thinking that, Becky only threw out $3,000, whether it be a $5,000 or $6,000 concession. The key is, though, that they can keep that money in their pocket, use it to fix
Less
up the
to
house
close.
or get some appliances. All right. Hey, we got so much to share with you here. We're up against our first break. Keep it here, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, 916. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. You can catch us at Capital all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We have a seriously experienced staff, and that's why we can get really deep into these topics, and we'd like to hear from you if you want to sneak in a call here, 248-539-9797. Harvey Free, Becky Alley with Capital, and of course Haley Zook, the great Haley Zook here. She's jumping in here, and of course Alexis Carmona. So you guys with Den Realty, and we always kick around some different topics that we're going to dive into. But I love again our first time home buyers, and it's the younger generation. They made up 30% of all the sales in the last year, probably in the last 2 years. So Haley, definitely always want to feel like what that vibe is with that younger generation. What are they thinking?
Absolutely. I definitely have some insight on that. But more than that, I mean, I've spoken to a bunch of my friends prior to this. And a lot of people are really concerned with being able to trust their agent. Not only that, but knowing that they're not overpaying for what they're getting. They want to make sure that they have an agent they can trust, that they can talk to, that they can be reassured that they're not overpaying in this market because they don't understand what's going on.
So is that their biggest fear and holdback?
Yeah, definitely the biggest fear for people of my age that I've spoken to personally
Is
is
that?
not wanting to jump in because they're not sure they can trust their prices. They're not sure they can trust their home value, and they want to make sure that they have an agent behind them that they can talk to.
To me, that screams education, needing that education
Yeah.
to understand what the process really is about, what it is like when you buy a home, and the money aspect.
And the funds needed. And
Yeah.
Becky
I
always
feel
says,
like-
start off with that great conversation.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it starts with a conversation, right? Like
Super simple.
You don't know what you don't know, and people are hesitant to just reach out, and there's no pressure when you're speaking to me or to Harvey or to anyone, right? So, and I find that interesting because what their biggest fear is what we literally opened up the show about, which is what Den is about, that experience for you and your client. I mean, so anyone that is
care.
listening, we had no idea that you had that written down, and we just kind of naturally went into that because that is literally the aura in the room when it comes to Den Realty and what they're looking to do, is because you can know all the ins and outs, but it's all about that trust. And there is that scarcity mindset. And when you're a first time home buyer and all you thought your whole entire life is all you have to do is save up $10,000.
Yeah.
And then you hear all the stories of what was going on over the last 2 years. Like, oh, well, now my $10,000 just grew into $50,000. And I didn't come from the birth lottery, so my parents can't bestow $50,000 on me for me to even compete. So then they started renting again. And the thing is that, and Alexis touched on it, this market is not one thing anymore. It is not
Many things.
Yes, it's not cash. It's not FHA. It's not anything. It's literally a bunch of things because we're watching it shift and turn. So if you are renting right now and you just got that rent letter that your rent is going up $2,000.
Yeah, they're coming out right now.
Yeah. You need to give us a call because you need to start investing in yourself, and we have the people
For sure.
that you can trust.
All right, tons of topics to get to. Again, 248-539-9797. Martin, we're going to get you on the radio now. So your question is what? Now, Paul sort of looked at me like he wasn't sure it was going to be. Go ahead for
So
it.
this is just a guy that I have an Airbnb in Florida already that we rent out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Fort Myers went through this hurricane, and I'm
Yeah.
not trying to sound like this guy. Is this a good time to go down there and put some cheap offers on some houses? And
I thought
pre-fix
about
them
it.
up?
I
I mean, I'm just curious.
Yes and no.
I don't know how
I don't know
this
about
works,
that.
but I'm just asking you guys, like,
I personally
houses
thought
got
about
messed
it.
up.
Well, look.
What was the question? I missed the question.
Now is the hurricane. People are scared to get back down there. Look, right now families are rebuilding their homes. There's they're still on a rescue mission down there picking up bodies. I mean, do bad times create opportunities? Yeah. So
Yes.
was someone's bad situation maybe an opportunity for someone else? Maybe it's going to scare off some Florida buyers. They got a lot of work down there to clean up. There's no doubt about that.
Right. So buying like a house that's water damage, not necessarily by the water that didn't get destroyed. Is that a good time to like see if they put these offers in, or does it something we got to go down there?
They're
They're
going
willing
to
to sell it?
yeah.
Okay, so when there's a natural disaster like this, there's going to be also lending, lending also is
Because of
going to be heightened,
insurance.
right? Because we have to make sure that if we are lending money to you on a house, for example, let's just say you're not going to pay cash for this house, they are aware that there is a natural disaster, so there's going to be extra inspections that are required because of FEMA and things like that, right? So it depends if you're going to pay cash or not, but there will be some
Cash
lending
offers
thing.
all
Yeah.
day.
All right. So if it's a cash offer, then yeah, go ahead. You can take those opportunities within yourself and help someone, right? Because someone might be without a house right now. So if you can step in and kind of quickly fix something to give someone a home, yes, do that. Great. If you have been blessed to be in a position to do so, go down there and help people. I'm all for that. Yes,
I think
absolutely.
you need to follow your gut, Martin.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Martin, I like to call it. I like to call a little bit. It does bring up some opportunity questions. Go ahead. I'll go one more thought. Go ahead.
I was just curious of taking care of the offer. Like, we bought a condo for $380. Now it's worth $700 in Florida, and I'm like, man, this is a good time to buy a house for even $100,000 and put 50 in it, and then either rent it out or Airbnb it, and you could still make money because these houses are damaged up with the flood. I was just thinking from a business standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the
helping out
position to
people.
do something like that, why not? Because everything is going to be built back, hopefully better.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it's always a good time to get into real estate, and it's not about capitalizing on other people's misfortunes, but there are going to be people out there that do need housing,
Yeah.
and quickly, and their lives were destroyed. So if you can get out there and put someone in a home temporarily, even while they're rebuilding their house, do
To do-
it.
yeah, to do
Anyone that's
those-
out there that can do it, do it.
An
Help them.
Airbnb rescue station.
Yeah, for sure.
And we do a lot of, Florida transactions. And of course, now we're in a situation. FEMA put out the information, area declared natural disaster or disaster declaration. And Orange, Osceola County, Polk County, Seminole County. Yes, if you have homes down there and you're in the middle of transactions, additional appraisers got to go back out to the property, make sure it's still standing. On my purchase transactions I just started, right, there's going to be some additional inspections and stuff. Again, maybe there's an opportunity out there for some families, but boy, oh boy, let them lick their wounds and let's rebuild down there and get things moving in the right direction again. If you got cash money and you can make a move and there's some opportunity, you can help someone, Becky.
Yeah.
Maybe you're helping someone by buying
Yeah,
their
your
property. I like
opportunity
that.
could also give, just don't look at it one-sided. So your opportunity can
Could
help
be
someone else.
someone else,
Yeah, and it's going
someone
to help
else's
them
game.
change their lives because they're in a position of they don't know what's going on and what's happening. So, and the reality is I don't think it's going to hinder people anyway from Florida because everyone knows this is that time of year and people always are in Florida.
Do people not come to Michigan because of our blizzards? Not to say they're exactly the same thing, but
Right.
even when we're cooped up in our house because we're snowed in, people aren't going to.
Yeah, don't sleep on Michigan, man.
Yeah, don't sleep.
Where we're from, we have all of it. We have all the seasons, but you literally drive 2 hours and you can be in Caribbean waters at Torch Lake,
Oh,
Clear
yes.
Lake, Higgins Lake. I mean,
I love Torch.
It's, I feel like we live in a very beautiful state. I love to snowboard too, so it's almost that time. So when I took up snowboarding, it made me appreciate our winters.
There you go. Yeah.
Same here, actually.
Yeah.
It's always
something to
fun
look
here.
forward to.
All right, let's go to a couple more calls here. 248-539-9797. Let's move off to Dan in St. Clair Shores. Good morning, Dan. You're live on the ticket.
How you doing, guys?
Real good. Mortgage and real estate. What do you got going?
So my daughter's buying a house, and she got it inspected and appraised, and the appraisal came in just $2,000 less than the asking price. There was a $3,000 contingency that the buyer was going to, fill the gap. But the lender, the mortgage company, isn't wanting to move the loan forward because there's a very bad issue with the toilet. There was water damage, and it's falling through.
Oh, is it a condition on the loan? Is it stopping it completely?
Well, at the moment, there's a fear that it might stop it completely.
Really?
And she's very nervous.
It's
And
just
it's
too
not
big
something
of a
FHA.
repair?
So without knowing the details, let's just say, like if I'm imagining, I'm looking at this appraisal myself and, the appraiser will go out there and if they feel there was water damage, let's just say there was at one time the toilet leaked and now you can see something like that came through the ceiling or something like that, right? What that requires is a separate inspection to make sure that there was any water damage has been remediated, it's been fixed, right? There's no current water issues. And as long as there's no mold, because anytime there's water, they're going to want to re-verify there's no mold, right? As long as you can get a separate inspection for those two things, you should be able to press forward. But again, without looking at all the details, but that's typically, if I were to, I'm imagining that's what's happening.
I'll throw in this too. I'd like to call
Yeah,
a
we'll
lot,
give you a
Dan.
call
Thank
after,
you for
yeah.
the call. I'm going to follow up with the call after the show, so we're getting your number down. But when we get an appraisal that comes in, and we do see it's crazy, it'll come in $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 off the purchase price. We're able to go back to the appraiser again. We're talking about lots of experience, folks. We didn't just open the door again. You better know who you're dealing
Yeah,
with.
this is a master class for other lenders right
Yeah,
now.
that's not don't get me started with some of the local brokers.
That's another thing too, though. The fact that I'm a realtor and I know what you're talking about, and we can work on that together as a
Yeah.
team. That's kind of what you need in a realtor, someone who could actually know what's going on these appraisal reports and these conditions and work through it with the lender and the buyer.
We quickly do a rebuttal to it, and usually that appraiser will just bump it up. Now, so Becky, he looks at the house, or she looks at the house, the appraiser, and she comes in at 180. And the purchase price is 182 or 183 or somewhere in that ballpark. Again, if that thing was fixed ahead of time, maybe that's what the appraiser's saying. Look, it's just not, the other houses are, at the purchase price, but they don't have any water issues. There's not something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
still.
I mean, the appraisal gap isn't really the issue, because it's $2,000. That's not the concern, right? It seems like there was some type of water issues.
Fix it.
Yeah, so what we'll do is
I'm a contractor.
Okay.
And I was there with the inspection. I saw the damage. I see it's repairable.
Okay.
But we don't want to repair it before she buys it because it's
Dan,
not
stay
her.
on line. Hey, can we put him on hold and we'll come back to him because we're going to wrap up this question. We're up against our second break of the day. Come and join the show. Lots of information. 248-539-9797. We'll be back. All righty, welcome back to the show, 9:32 on this beautiful October 1st, 2022. You're listening to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. I'm Harvey Freed, Becky Alley, of course, with Capital Mortgage. You can reach us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Definitely get tons and tons of experience. Put your great real estate team together like Alexis Carmona and Haley Zook. They're joining us here from Den Realty, and we're having a great time. This is going to be the quickest hour in real estate. Pat Caputo comes up after us, 10 to 11. He's got his sports show. And then following that, University of Michigan football. And they're out taking on Iowa today. So tons to share with you. Let's go back out to Dan. Dan, we like your question. Don't go too long with it. You're a contractor. What's it going to take to fix that toilet? So maybe we could go back to the appraiser and say, look, this house is worth $2,000 more. This is all fixed up. And where's the communication with the lender? Comment on those things.
Well, like if it was for me, Dad's price is like $500. I'm just gonna look at the joists because it's on a crawl first of all. Okay. So everything, and we had it inspected. There's no solid waste going into the crawl. It's just water onto dirt, and so you just got to take up the tile, put in a joist, and put some subflooring down, and put the toilet back on.
Sounds like a deal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you do it when you don't own the house yet? And how do you get a contractor for the purchaser, the buyer, or the seller to get the same price?
Well, what I usually do in situations like this is my buyer will get a couple quotes and then the seller will get a couple quotes. And we try to make it to where the seller pays for it. And if the deal doesn't, work out, sometimes that seller will say, okay, well, I paid for this repair. And you can either say something along the lines, well, whoever's buying it next is going to need that repair anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if it turns into an issue, that EMD can get split if it's necessary, if you have to pay them back for whatever repair. But the chances of that happening are so slim. I think it's just something you need to get done so your daughter has this house and she could close and lock in that rate.
Yeah, there's also, let's just say, for example, you're saying you don't want her to fix it before she owns it, right? So there's also what's called an escrow holdback.
Boom.
And I don't know the lender, but it is something that we're able to do here at Capital Mortgage Funding, where in a situation like this, you get your quotes, you find out what it's going to cost to repair, you explain why you don't want to fix in advance, which is understandable. You want to make sure the financing is done, and then you close on it, and then the funds are allocated in an escrow fund. You have X amount of days to fix it. Once it's done, those funds that were allocated into the escrow account get reimbursed to you, and then the final inspection is taken place.
Have your daughter's realtor watch this live stream on Facebook.
Oh, boy.
And listen to Becky one more time.
I'm going to call, actually, Dan, I'll call you
we're
after
going
the
to give
show.
you a call.
We'll dig into you a little bit, definitely,
We'll fix
because
this for you.
better communication with the lender or the real estate agents involved. And truthfully, I'm telling you, go ahead and fix it. That's what I would be negotiating.
Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of things if she really wants this house.
She'll get it. Hey, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Let's move on to some more calls here. 248-539-9797. Autumn calling in from Canton. Good morning. Hi, Autumn.
Hi, I just wanted to call and give a shout out to Alexis. I'm going to try not to cry. But
Oh, don't cry, Autumn. You're so sweet. Thank you for calling.
Autumn, I think, just sold or bought a new house.
Dream home. Okay, yeah. Alexis helped us get our dream home. And, I just think it's really important to, have a realtor that's so compassionate as she is. I had it together before this.
You're so sweet.
See, I love all the good vibes that, literally, I had no idea. So when we start these shows, we have no idea sometimes what direction we're going to go in. And, and I love the fact that you are actually really staying on theme with what just naturally happened in this room, which is positive vibes and getting in line with people that genuinely care, that have the experience and the knowledge, but have a heart, right? You're driven, you're hardworking, but she has a heart. And I see that. And I told her that even when I was here for 5 minutes and I saw her and Haley, that I love what they're doing and what they're presenting. And you are actually a testament to that.
Autumn, you're making my guests cry in the studio here. What are you doing? All right, go enjoy your day.
Sorry.
No, thank you.
Well, I have one thing to say real quick. I know you guys talked about the younger buyer not wanting to overpay. And Alexis, a couple houses, when it was getting too high, she told us, this is getting too high. So I feel
yeah, I really care about the investment.
She's honest with you. She'll let you know, is this too much? Is the resale value going to be I just feel when you trust your realtor, you got to find that realtor that you trust. And Alexis is it.
Thank you,
Yay.
Autumn.
All right, Autumn, great stuff. Thank you for the call. And again, I know
So
you guys will be
kind.
talking, and happy holidays, welcoming fall temperatures in the air and enjoying your day. And of course, Alexis, that sort of reminds me that you have an unbelievable vacant lot out there in
I do.
Ann Arbor area, only the #1 school districts
I
and
know.
stuff. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is seriously like a dream, and I'm really not sure. You know, I feel like the reason why people have not decided to build on it yet, just because they're so scared of like build costs. So they hear, lumber went up, and it's like this regurgitated, rhetoric for the past 2-3 years of how expensive everything is. But if you really want to live your dream, you're going to figure it out. I have this 5-acre lot. It's surrounded by parks, private park, like
so no one can build
trails.
around it.
Yeah, and farms. It's like not buildable. So it's beautiful. The well is in. Septic has already been approved by the health department, but not installed. The natural gas is at the street, and it's ready to go. They cleared the trees. It's an amazing lot. It's Superior Township taxes, Plymouth address, Ann Arbor schools. Ann Arbor was just voted #1 place to raise a family. Like, this is where people are moving, and you could build a beautiful investment there too. This is a great piece of land.
Becky, isn't that great? She named 3 different cities. Now, if you don't know what you're talking about, and you're just dealing with someone, you're clicking buttons online, you're not going to get that professionalism. It's, again, rebuild that team so that you're successful.
No, you cannot get a mortgage, nor can you get a high caliber agent by clicking buttons. Sometimes you can actually get a good agent on the phone, just coincidentally, if you're clicking the right buttons, if the right person calls you back. But lending, absolutely not. But again, you need to get in contact with someone that knows all the counties. You're talking about Washtenaw County, Wayne County, Oakland County. I mean, you got all the things that, and if you're looking to build, because we do have builders that are looking to people that are wanting to build their own story, their own thing. So she's got a great piece of property. We'll give us a call, Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll get you in contact, and that way you can build your dream home on this 5-acre lot on
Could you
private.
imagine $400,000?
super private.
You don't have to build a $2 million house. You can build a $500,000 house or
Seriously,
whatever. It's just an unbelievable
to your
location.
budget. It's what everybody's been asking for, I feel, as well. Privacy. And with what's happened in the last couple of years, I think people really realize that they want more land and more space to live.
Yeah.
Let's go to Rob in Canton. Rob, thanks for calling in the show. Good morning. What's happening?
Good morning. How are you?
Very good.
My question is, back in May, I switched from a sales executive W-2 job to doing consulting and independent sales rep work. And I find myself in a position to have to buy a house again.
Yep.
So are there programs available for someone that has less than 12 months 1099 employment?
Yes and no. I mean, but ideally, we would like you to have at least 12 months of your 1099 income. When did you start with your consulting?
May.
Okay, so you're going to be about 6 months on your 2022 tax returns. Okay, so if you made enough money for that, and if, there's ways we can kind of, not get around things, because it is what it is, right? But it's all about the documentation, right? What was your previous employer? Is it in line with what you're doing right now? So we do have some new things for self-employed buyers, but ideally you are going to have to file these 2022 tax returns to kind of just document the fact that you're no longer W-2'd. But, obviously the end of the year is right around the corner. So you're not it's not far from that. Yeah. So it's kind of like going to be starting these conversations right now. Let's make sure the credit is where it needs to be and coming up with that game plan. So come, January 1st or, let's just say February, when you can get all that stuff done, we're going to be in a position to kind of move pretty quick.
That's the best advice.
I'll take it one step further too. Maybe that situation comes up, Rob, where you got a big chunk of money, you find a house, and you might have to enter into a land contract or something like that, maybe just initially to buy the house. And the reason why I'm thinking is a lot of self-employed programs that we offer, and we offer this wide variety of them, we have a 12-month bank statement program, and I actually think that would be the program. So, there might be something where we can tie in and get you hooked up before the 12-month. Make sure you're depositing your income into, again, you're not going to show all your income. Self-employed people, Becky, they don't show their income, do they? Not all of it.
Well, I mean, that's for a off-topic conversation.
Yeah, we could talk all day about that.
Yeah, obviously we're not CPAs and we're not here to give you tax advice. However, if you are a self-employed buyer, you need to show income on paper and watch your write-offs.
Yeah, watch your write-offs. Again, go ahead.
If we had the 12 months self-employment, would I still qualify for I believe my scores are north of 700, and I'm looking to put as little down as possible.
Yeah.
Would I have to put more down than the 5%?
I mean,
conventional mortgage?
even just for yourself, perhaps, but that's something that we'll probably just talk, after the show with you. We'll get in contact and just kind of really get into detail so that way we can make sure we're setting up for success.
Hey, we're up against a nice
perfect.
break. Rob, thanks for the call. Really appreciate it. Rob Allen Can joining our show. And if you want to join the show and you got a tough question, 248-539-9797. We got 20 minutes or so here on the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Give us a call. All righty, welcome back to the show, 946. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call us, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Get that strong approval letter. I don't use the word pre anymore. That's for the amateur hours, okay? You need a strong approval letter. Now, we'll make that approval, Becky, contingent upon the appraisal and the title insurance and those important things that are put into the contract.
Yeah, I mean, it's our job is to take that file as far as we humanly possibly can until you have an accepted offer. And in this market as well, we actually are doing that even more so to make sure that we're securing these rates in advance while you are shopping, because we're trying to secure the money, right? Because every day the market's changing, but it doesn't have to be panic, right? We're here to uncomplicate a complicated situation. So if your concern is the payment, well, then get us the documents as quickly as you humanly possibly can, so that way we can send your file to underwriting, make sure it's good, and lock in that rate even while you're still shopping, because that is a great tool that we have at Capital Mortgage Funding that people are taking advantage of, especially in this market, because you can only control what you can control, and we're trying to control what we can for you in the best way we can.
We're going to step this up a little bit. We'll call it an advanced real estate mortgage class here and go to like 301, the level 301 class,
okay.
not 401 class.
Not the 101.
No, not the 101. So more like you're a junior heading into your senior year of college and you're learning all about this. There's no doubt there are inventory out there. It's aging. It's an older houses. So now comes that education of preserving funds. So we're preserving our clients' funds instead of them coming in, hey, Harvey, I've got $50,000 to put down. Well, we're working with your money now. We're keeping that money preserved for you so you can fix up the house, put the new roof on, get those sellers concessions, and you got to have professionals on your team. You know all about this.
Yeah, I do. And right now, I think a lot of people are confused. They're like, oh, okay, well, Alexis, this house, no one else is kind of writing on it, or, no one really, why is it still on the market after a week? And it's because we are shifting, yes. However, the house that we were looking at, it's kind of in a first-time home buyer's price point. A lot of first-time home buyers, they don't have a whole lot of cash to renovate or change the cosmetic items. So what do? Concessions. We can work it in. Like right now, I truly believe I have a house that's meant for one of my clients, but she's shying away from it a little bit. We are in negotiations. She's shying away from it because not everybody else went after it. It's older, but it's got some of the best bones. Like I would buy this house and renovate it because the price point I could get it at for my client.
Exactly.
With concessions on top of it, even after you put 10, 15K in some of the cosmetic remodels, you're still under, you're in a good investment ballpark range. Like the house could sell right now at a certain point that I'm getting it probably 30K under what it could sell for with concessions because it's old looking inside. That's it.
Okay, so to that point, right? People want to stand in line just because other people are standing in line, right? They don't know what they're standing in line for, but
they're just gonna they follow and they
make me laugh.
It's just like it's just
true,
psychology, and that's the other thing too. I have to explain.
Don't be afraid to go the other way to put yourself in a better position.
And I trust my gut. I have a very strong gut feeling in real estate for my clients, and that's how I work through my life too. So I feel like I always offer my gut to my clients who maybe don't have that instinct or I'm feeling it type of energy. I do for my clients. I say, no, I've seen everything on the market that you're looking at. I've watched this market for years. This is a house that you could totally grow in, and I know I could take a big bite out of this price point for you. I know it.
Yeah, like that. I actually just had the same conversation. He's not a first-time home buyer, but he was saying, "Well, what does it look like if I did 20%, 15%?" And I was like, "Listen, what is this house? What are you going to invest into it?" I go, "Maybe you need to do 10% down."
Yeah.
Do you have the money? Yes, but we know that. Why would you want to invest so much in something that you know that you're going to eventually want to refinance in the next 3-4 years when these opportunities come?
Right.
And the payment worked, all the things, and I was like, "You're in the driver's seat." I was like, "But I can't." I was like, I can't sleep at night unless I put all these options in front of you because you need to see all the different angles that I'm seeing. Now, you're going to pick which slot you're going to go in, but it's important to lay it out for them because they don't see it like you're seeing it, right? People don't see it how I see it, but it's important that we just do that, our due diligence. You educate them the best you can, but ultimately it is going to be their decision. They are in the driver's seat.
And you guys know it best as real estate agents, those clients that put down 5 and 10% down, truly in 2018 and 19, they already refinanced their homes. The rates had dropped. They had 10%. They had another 10 easy percent equity.
Honestly, like for younger buyers that don't plan, this is not your long-term home. You plan on doing 2 to 5 years in it. You plan on changing the paint, maybe changing the kitchen to white cabinets, right? Every realtor right now has got a client that is like that. A lot of them are like, I'm going to put 20% down. I'm like, how old are you? Why? Just stop it right now. Keep your liquid.
Yeah.
Don't you want to go on vacation? You don't need to do all of that. I get you want your payment to be a certain way, but if the interest rate is working really well for you and you have good credit, I would say you don't have good credit. Let's work on how we could get you good credit versus taking the money out of your pocket.
boy,
Yeah,
that's
I
huge.
say
You
that
know?
we're in a temporary pain moment.
Agreed.
It's a temporary pain moment to get you through the other side. And I often correlate it to, like I've talked about it before. I bought my first house. It was 6.5. It was a huge. It was a big rate, but I could have put more money down. It was supposed to be my 3-year house. The housing market collapsed after that. It ended up being my 12-year house. But it is what it is, right? We wrote it out. Opportunities came, and then that property that I held on to turned into a blessing for me. So it's all about the timing. And
Same thing happened for me. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought I was buying a condo. It was newer construction, so I have a non-warrantable loan. I was like, great. Everyone else around here is getting 2% right now, and I have to pay 3%. I was so upset, or 3.6 because it's non-warrantable. And I thought for sure I can, in a couple years when the subdivision is done, I'll refinance into a conventional. No, not. It's 2 years later. I'm like, I think I'm really excited with my house payment and my mortgage rate.
necessarily
So
going anywhere.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I think this is going to be my 5-year home.
Yeah.
So
And your life changed a little bit. I know
Oh,
you
yes.
told me you had 2 dogs and that other guy that you drive around, whoever that guy Brad is.
Bradley.
Yeah, whatever.
We love Brad.
Yeah.
Hey, Brad.
All right. Hey, it wouldn't be a great mortgage real estate show, Becky, if we didn't drop into a little bit of refinance conversation. As much as I'm doing very little of it to rate term refinance, I'm doing consolidation loans for so many families. And Becky, people have land contracts with low credit scores. They got to pay them off. And I got a guy recently who might be getting a divorce situation, and he's going to need to do a mortgage. Got lower credit scores. You can't get a home equity loan at the local bank.
No, it's situational, right? There's always going to be those opportunities for everyone. And COVID, some people were not essential and they racked up their credit card debts. You have, people are looking to divorce, like you said, and they have to refinance other people. I have quite a few. But in those situations, I have 3 refis right now I'm working on specifically. We don't even need an appraisal and they're cash out. They're getting things out. So every situation is different. And we're not here to advocate on the house being a piggy bank. But at the same time, if you can capitalize on that big asset, still save money, and people don't even bat an eyelash at paying 19% on their credit cards, but they want to gasp.
Oh my gosh, they didn't even know.
Yeah, they want to clench their pearls at a 6% interest rate. It's like it's never made any sense to me.
There's so many different products out right now too. Like I know a lot of different institutions. Don't you guys do buy downs?
Yeah, we got
yeah.
the
You
2.
guys do buy downs.
we do all the
it's
things.
an option totally for someone who is afraid to go over a certain rate. For sure, it's about if you have the liquid, you want to. Some situations as realtors, we've been asking even the seller to cover the cost of that buy down for their rate.
Yeah,
Well,
why
instead
not?
of doing what's called, you guys like to call them price improvements, right? So instead of that seller, if you can find someone that's about to do a price improvement and you have a buyer, what we're talking about is where, the seller can give those concessions, allow that buyer to have a 2% lower interest rate, and then the next year will be 1% above that, and then on the third year it goes to what the original pre-approved rate would be. But that gives those buyers opportunities to save money while we're waiting for this market to decide what it's going to do.
Yeah, it's all situational too. Like whatever product really works best for someone's loan, for sure. I did have a really oddball question. I have been seeing, I want to say in the last 2 years, we've been seeing a lot of divorces. So you just said you had a couple divorces. When it comes to divorce and lending, what is the biggest issue? What is the biggest thing you say, okay, this client of mine is coming to me and they say they're getting divorced. For realtors, we have one way, but as a lender, what is your first question?
Our first question is who is going to retain, obviously they're reaching out. So like, are you guys, has it filed yet?
Yes.
Okay. And if it hasn't been filed yet, then, and they want to proceed, let's say they already know what they're going to do, then we have to make sure that both parties are okay with continuing on as married, because you're going to start the refinance process.
That was always a big question mark for me, and no one's ever really explained it to me, because I asked the same questions as a realtor, but I'm sorry, keep going.
I can't wait. I'm going to take you out for lunch and we'll go over all these things.
For sure. I love food. I'm very food motivated. Like my pants are really tight. I could taste the leather.
But yeah, so like it's, you have to be a little bit invasive, but the biggest thing is that if you're starting the process while they're still married, they haven't filed yet, but they know they're going to do it.
Okay.
You have to stay status quo because you're technically still married. And that's something that they have to discuss with their lawyers to make sure everyone's on the same page with that.
Right. Amicable divorces, situations. Again, if they're willing to sign some documents before the divorce is final, there's things you can do.
Yeah.
Again, for all those tough questions, be sure to call us at Capital Total Mortgage Funding, 1-800 Low Rate, the best mortgage banker. That music says we got to go, but you guys are outstanding.
This show was
Alexis
fire.
Carmona, Haley Zook, of course.
That's right. It's the end. Oh, no.
Fastest hour in radio. Really appreciate you guys coming on, and definitely someone flipped a switch out there. That's fall. That's gorgeous weather. Keep your landscape looking good. You'll get top dollar for that house, and we'll hook you up with some great real estate agents like Alexis Carmona for sure. All right,
Thank you.
that's Den Realty. We got a lot to hear from them throughout the years. For Becky Alley, I'm Harvey Free. We got Pat Caputo coming up with sports. Keep it here.